This is the Songwriting Mind, a program exploring the personal depths of creativity, stories, and craft that define songwriting. In this episode, we hear from Greg Thelen, a songwriter on the Oregon coast. Enjoy.
I played accordion as a kid, so I played music. Once I started playing guitar in my late teens, I played covers, of course, and I learned about the blues. The first song I wrote was a folk song. I don't think there was even there was no chorus. It just has a verse and another verse and another verse and another verse. It was about traveling. It was about after I got out of the Air Force, I traveled in my car and camped out and hung out. And I wrote a song about that and about meeting people. I was 21 when I set off on my own. Told the military life so long. I think the context that we write in when we start out is what we've heard. For me, Bob Dylan was one of my really big heroes. That's why that was a folk song. And I was like a folkie back, in the beginning anyway. So that was the style. That was just what I was comfortable with. I mean, I still like that song, even though it's simple and it's just a folk song, but it has meaning to me. I mean, I can sing each verse. And my friend Peter, which is in it, was a skier, and he taught me to ski. And Peter was the Brooklyn ski bum king. It's like that means something to me. So I still like the song. It takes me back. It takes me back to the good part of it all, the part that you want to remember. I guess, because it's a positive song. So yeah, I remember Peter. I remember going skiing. I remember his energy. Peter was a Brooklyn ski bum king. Play guitar, make you want to sing. It's a really simple song, but it was just, that's what it was. And it's what I do now too. When I sing a song, I'll picture the person, or I'll just picture the thing that made me write that lyric. Usually a person that inspires me to write a song, something about a person or something about our relationship. There's some event that creates a feeling. I may have been playing something on the guitar. I may have a little riff or some little groove, and some little phrase will come. Katie's gone to Cuba. Or it'll just be something like that. Like I'll start a song with just what comes out of my head, just something about the feeling, or something about just to start it. There'll be a starting feeling to every song I have. There's a starting feeling. There'll be one phrase, or maybe there'll be two phrases. They'll be in that feeling, and then I'll expand around that feeling, but I'll keep the same feeling with different lyrics. So in the case of the Katie Went to Cuba song, one of the verses is going out to Vinales. Well, she didn't go out to Vinales, but I went out to Vinales when I was in Cuba. So I she took a drive out to Vinales. It was a yellow 54 sedan. That's what I rode out in. It was a Studebaker. And I remember I can sit there and see the dashboard right now. I was there, but it wasn't her, but I was there. I saw the Mogotes. I took the walk through the tunnel. I did the walk and they rolled a cigar and all that. I was there. I did all that stuff. So she did her own experience in Cuba. So I'm attaching my experience to her experience. So it's about her being in Cuba, because I know she did all that stuff too, whether it was my stuff or her stuff. I know what Cuba was like for me, and I know I have a sense of what it was like for her. I'll do that. I'll attach these other satellites to the song that just carry the song. I need more verses. I can't just have that first verse. It's not enough. That's the meat. That's the meat of the song. In fact, she went to Cuba many years ago. This song, and I actually wrote the Katie Went to Cuba to play that conga line years ago, decades ago. I had never been to Cuba. The song never went anywhere. I only had one verse. And it's the same verse that I always had. It's the same verse I sing now. But none of that other stuff was in it. The other verses, it wasn't until I went to Cuba, and then 10 years went by and I could, put it all together. But it's like she was there the whole time in the song. I wrote. I was at the Malecon, so I put her at the Malecon, shaking her shaker at the party, because I saw them partying on the Malecon.
Katie's going to Cuba to play that conga line. Katie's going to Cuba, play that conga line. Los muñequitos de my tante say she's doing fine. You know she loved to do the cha-cha and shake that shaker. You know she loved to do the cha-cha, shake that shaker. Well, she can shake it con el ritmo, shake it, shake it, shake it, shaker. Now you shake it in the morning when the sun is shining bright. Shake it at Fiesta on a Malecon at night. Katie's gone to Cuba, play that conga line. Los muñequitos de my tante say she's doing fine. Was a yellow 54 sedan. She took a drive out to Vinales. Mogotes rise up from the land. In La Plaza del Pueblo, saw her shake it with the cha-cha man. Katie's gone to Cuba. 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 She's playing in that conga line. Katie's gone to Cuba. She's playing in that conga line.
I took songwriting classes. I read a dozen songwriting books. I went to workshops. I did a bunch. I actually studied songwriting quite a bit. I learned, you put your specifics in the verse, you put your furniture, set the table, and then in the chorus you have a general statement about all of the information you've written in the verses. Setting up the chorus, having a lift to set up the chorus sometimes, all that stuff. It was good to learn all that stuff. It's like it was good to learn to sing with voice lessons. But when I write, I don't really think about any of that stuff because all those things are just capturing what you hear in pop music. Once I was able to write a hook, I was able to free more of my personal energy. You can write about things. There's a way to write where you're writing about things, but when you have a chorus and it's repeating and you've got a hook that goes deep and that's memorable, you're really saying what the song is about. You're committing and really putting it on the line. And this is really what's happening. And I'm really going to sing this over and over. And the transition that I made in being able to write hooks was partially from the information that I'd gotten. But I think, to be honest, the biggest piece has been maturity and self-confidence and the willingness to expose myself in a really deep way. We all have areas of our life that we go to the edge of our comfort zone. And this is the one I've chosen to do to get to my comfort zone. So to write a hook and really sing it and to be willing to be measured or, to be liked or not liked, it's a big deal. And the stronger your hook, the more you're out there, the more risk you're taking. That's just how I feel it. As well as how personal the music you're writing is. And my music tends to be personal. It's just what I've chosen to do. It was an important step for me when I wrote my first hook. It was like stepping into another level. About that time, I got clearer about focusing on the intention of the song. My songs got clearer. There was less stuff in the song that didn't relate to the song. Because when you're dealing with a feeling, oftentimes there's a lot of mixed messages and stuff going on that you don't necessarily want if you want the song to be heading in a particular direction or to be clear. In a sense, it's the nature of like relationship. Relationship is messy. But if you can be clear about things, it's often easier or a better relationship. But a lot of my early songs, pre-hook days, there would be stuff that didn't really belong in the song, like we had mentioned before. And songwriting books will tell you to just really stay focused on what you're saying in your verses. And it's really true. It's pretty easy now for me to write a song and be real clear. And it's interesting about clarity that sometimes I will start off on a tangent. The words sound like a tangent, but the feeling feels right. But then I will look at the line, maybe even the next day, and I'll go, oh, what I really wanted to say was it goes off on a tangent, but it still comes back this way. Even though it may seem like it's going somewhere, but in the old days, I would have just written that line and it would have just been another line that I wrote. Now I'm going to write the next line, and now I'm going to write the next line. But the songs didn't really hang together that well. But I think my songs are much more understandable now. The song Stay, I have a friend who we've talked quite a bit about. We've done a lot of, probably you'd call it personal growth or something together. And we have argued a lot, and we've been good friends. We've played music together. It's interesting that even from day one, we could have an argument. And the way I used to be was, you have an argument with somebody, okay, this relationship's over. It's not worth it. I'm not going any deeper than that. But this person, this is something we noticed after a long period of time, that we would stay. You know, when it got tough, we'd just stay and work it out one way or another, even if we just agree to disagree. And it's really fortunate when you can find somebody like that. So the song, Stay, so that idea came up about her, about I'm going to write about her and the fact that we stay. And so then Stay, I'm going to stay. I'm not going away. That's the hook. Then the verses are all story, right? I'm going to talk about that. So now I've got an opportunity for a verse. So I don't have any verses, but I'm going to have a verse. I wrote in my notebook, wrote a page of times that she and I had situations where we could have just said, you know, screw you. This is not worth it. And so I just wrote down a bunch of instances. The first verse was a situation where she and I were traveling. We were on tour. We were having an argument, and I ran out of gas. And so I pull over to the side of the road. Well, I didn't get all the way off the road. It was a nightmare. So we get out, and I go try to get gas. She's got her instruments outside of the thing and her suitcase when I come back, and she's calling me all these names. You know, I thought that was going to be it. You know, it's like, she stayed. So that's the first verse. The line is down on empty. Guess I pushed a little hard. All caught up in distraction. Now I don't know where we are.
The line is down on empty. Guess I pushed a little hard. All caught up in distraction. Now I don't know where we are. You sit there on your suitcase with a ticket in your hand, sticking daggers in my stories. Won't you tell me when you can if you will stay? Or are you going away? The clouds were cool as buttermilk. You said the sky was blue. I looked right up to see, and there was no way it was true. I know sometimes you come to play, and I put up a fight. This time I'ma give it up, even if it takes all night. I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. Sometimes I get nervous like the scene ain't good enough. All running out of words to say and ready to hang it up. Lights go down and fade to gray, I wander out of sight, looking around for someone who might help me back inside. I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. Yes, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. Well, I could win the big one, quit my job and screw around, take a permanent vacation from my troubles in this town, find a brand new woman like some other guys might do. I'd be twice a fool to live a life that had no you. I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. Yes, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait. Yes, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna wait.
When you're writing for somebody else, you can be cerebral. You know, you can get your idea out, you can work on the hook, you can complete the song, but you maybe don't have the juice in it. I would listen to recordings that I had done years ago, and they're just flat. There's nothing in them. It's just me sort of trying to hit the pitches, or, you know, trying to get the pitches right was kind of where I was for a long time, to make it good so I could pass that song on to somebody else that would then make it into something really great. It used to be that performers didn't write their own songs. In the 60s, the performers started doing their own songs. And so by the time I started writing songs, you know, you basically had to write them for yourself. But there wasn't, so the only industry is the country industry, or it was in the 80s and 90s when I was beginning to really write. I wrote in a country genre, you know, the storytelling with a hook, some twist on a phrase, or, you know, I just experimented with that. That was what I learned, you know, from reading books and stuff. That's what you did. I wrote songs and took them to Nashville that were clearly not going to work because they were so personal. You know, you don't write, there's certain things you don't write about. You don't write about politics, you don't write about religion, you don't write about, you know, a number of things if you want to make it on top 40 radio or on country radio. Not to say that those aren't good songs, and not to say that you shouldn't write 1,000 of those songs just to plumb your own depths and learn how to emote and express yourself. At some point, I made a shift from being a songwriter for other people, and the light went on, and I said, dude, nobody's going to do this. Nobody wants your songs. If you want people to hear your songs, you're going to have to sing them. And then that started the whole process of finding my own voice, which took years. When I listened back to recordings that I made when I was in that Nashville phase, it's not even my voice, the voice that I have now. It was way held back. It was way trying to, with a little kind of an accent, and it was trying to say something rather than just be something. It was hard, but as I said earlier, I matured and I became more confident over time, and my voice got bigger and bigger. And from listening to old recordings and just going, "You're not really singing, Greg. You're not really doing this. Get big, go for broke. When I sing the song now, I feel the energy. I'm bringing up energy, and I will take risks. If it's something I really feel strongly about, I'll sing it in a way that really emotes that, because that's what I do, and that's what you do. That's the part that I get to have as a singer and as a songwriter. Showing the kind of emotion that I'm doing now is kind of enough. I really do feel like I'm on the edge of my comfort zone. My song, The River, my friend Kendra and I were sitting in the backyard talking about spirituality and love and why love doesn't always work out. And I had the basic idea of the song, but she came up with a lot of stuff. It's really nice to write with someone who you have things in common with, and you have a common vocabulary, and you can go into each other's mind. You can have a mind meld a bit. Because she got totally what I was doing, and she came up with some great additions to the song. She really made it what it is. We kind of just were going in the same place and made that song happen.
Love is a story that don't seem to work out often. Love is a story that don't always work out right. Love is a story that don't always work. You might think I'm going down with no one round to kiss. Tonight I've got a river to love and trust in. I'll climb a mountain to love and trust myself. I've got a friend to walk beside. I'm gonna live each moment of my life right here like this. You can keep that kiss. I'm gonna walk with you the rest of my life. I'm gonna love you when we're gone. I'm gonna let you keep this place in my heart. Let the river carry on. Life goes by while you're waiting for the future. Life goes by while you hold on to the past. Life goes by while you're standing still. You can run for the money, you can run till you get your fill. But it won't be real. I'm gonna walk with you the rest of my life. I'm gonna love you when we're gone. I'm gonna let you keep this place in my heart. Let the river carry on. Life feels right when it's coming through your fingers. Life feels right when you're breathing in and out. Life feels right when you're coming home. You can find a story, you can leave it at the door. There's so much more. I'm gonna walk with you the rest of my life. I'm gonna love you when we're gone. I'm gonna let you keep this place in my heart. Let the river carry on. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on.
I have a duty to my songs. in a sense. I mean, they're a gift. For me, it's a real personal gift that I've been given to have these things come to me. They're all living in a different place, too. That's the cool thing about songwriting, too. I love going in the different genres because they get to have their own place in the stars. I never know where the songs are going to come from, and I don't try to put them in a genre. I just try to play them as they are, as they come out. Once I get started, if it's a strong hook or it's a strong feeling, the song will happen. It's mostly just trial and error, to be honest. I just try stuff, but a lot of stuff doesn't feel right. Like a phrase won't feel right, or a word won't feel right, even if it leads off somewhere else. In fact, it's kind of exciting when it leads off to something tangential that kind of feels like it's right, because there's another thing that'll develop that will stay with the feeling, and it'll develop to another verse or a bridge or something that's tangential. The song will hold together. And what I learned many years ago was to never memorize a song until it feels complete and absolutely right, perfect. Because what I used to do was to write out a lyric, and now it's my song, I'm done, and I would learn it and memorize it, and then I would realize, I got to change that, and then I got to change that, and I'd have to change that. And I would go for weeks on one song trying to learn it again and trying to forget what I'd already learned. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I put it on paper, and I'll read it and sing it. Mm-hmm. I don't learn it. I would just read it and sing it, and I'll get up in the morning, first thing, get right out of bed, walk over, pick up my guitar, look at the piece of paper, sing it, and I'll go, and I'll make a correction. I will do that. I'll do that for a pass after pass after pass, day after day, week after week, and it's not done until it's done. And I will never perform a song until it really feels like it's really done. So it could take a long, long time, but I will it's all by the feel of it. It's all by feel. But I don't learn them until they're done. And I edit them over and over and over. I'll go through page after page after page. I used to be a very conservative lyric writer, and I fit into the mold of the kinds of things I've heard before, using words I've heard before. Mm-hmm. There are occasions where I will realize I'm putting a phrase together that's unusual. My tendency has always been to shy away from it and go to something that's known. But with the song Glossy Mirror, what's a glossy mirror? That's a new term. That's a new phrase. So I shouldn't let the fact that I've never heard that phrase or it feels uncomfortable or unusual stop me from singing in a song. And the cool thing that I find about song lyrics of other artists is when I don't really necessarily understand their song lyric, that it could have different meanings. And I really like that. I like songs that you can kind of come to from different ways and put your own interpretation into it. You're not the only one to look into the glossy mirror. I mean, it just works.
She only wanted to believe in love that took her over and float away inside a never-ending dream comes true. He looked around as he waited by the bar and wondered who would be the one to help his broken heart feel new. When you try to fill an empty space with a perfect body or a pretty face, you're not the only one to look into the glossy mirror. Someone else is bound to take a different point of view. They met that evening, the night became a perfect picture. Two people looking into something only lovers can see. But in the morning light he pulled the covers up around him. She looked away and wondered if it's really meant to be. When you try to fill an empty empty space with a perfect body or a pretty face. You're not the only one to look into the glossy mirror. Someone else is bound to take a different point of view. When dreams wear thin and plans start falling through, it's when you feel alone, don't know what to do. The days go by, they spend a lot of nights together. They're finding out the little things that make each other smile. To dance, she'll just close her eyes and listen. It's not forever, still they want to take their own sweet time. When you try to fill an empty space with a perfect body or a pretty face, you're not the only one to look into the glossy mirror. Someone else is bound to take a different point of view. You're not the only one to look into the glossy mirror. Someone else is bound to take a different point of view.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriting Mind. This interview with Greg Thelen was recorded on December 15th, 2024 in Port Orford, Oregon. Greg's albums are available for streaming online. The Songwriting Mind is produced by me, Eric Princess Dragon. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us and share with others. Peace.